Hey friends, welcome back. Today I've got part 2 of the most recent books that I've been reading. If you haven't seen part 1, I will go ahead and link it up in the eye in the sky. Go check that out. I'll link it down in the description box below as well. If you're new around here, I do hope that you enjoy this video. Please consider subscribing to be a part of the family. We'd love to have you. This is part 2 of the most recent books I've been reading. And part 1, I went over the first 5. So go check that out either now, so pause this one and go check it, or after this. The order that you hear them in is of no importance. So I kind of explained in part 1, but I'll kind of go over that here too. I have a goal this year to read or listen to 50 books. I have found over the past year that listening to books is actually a lot more convenient for me. So I use the Libby app on my phone, right there. This is a free app that you can just put in your library credentials, and if your library is using it for their Audible or audiobook selection, you can get free audiobooks. So I listen to audiobooks pretty much throughout the day whenever I can. While I'm driving, while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning, folding laundry, you name it, I am probably listening to an audiobook. So it's been really nice because last year I actually read 42 books, or listened to. I say the word read, but listened to 42 books, most of them on Libby. Anyway, all that to say, I'm gonna go over some of my favorite books that I've been reading lately. Book number 1 is called Watch Me Disappear by Janelle Brown. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. So a mother and wife goes missing, and her husband and daughter are left to deal with the fallout. The mom was hiking by herself, body was never found, but after a certain amount of time, they rule her dead. So her daughter starts seeing her mother in waking dreams or hallucinations, and she doesn't tell anybody about it at first, but this leads her to believe that her mother is still alive somewhere. This sends the daughter on a wild goose chase to find her mother, or to see if these hallucinations are actually trying to tell her something. And what ends up happening is she starts uncovering secrets that her mother was harboring, and kind of how that all plays out. Second book that I want to talk about is called Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. I think this one is kind of an older book. I gave it 3 out of 5. This was a bit slow and awkward at first, but when I got about halfway through, I realized that the whole setup was pretty pertinent to the character development. So then I was like, okay. It did keep me interested enough not to shelve it. It was very cute and poignant once it got past introducing you to the characters and all of that. It emphasized nonconformity in a middle school setting. The main character, a young boy, falls for the girl that everyone thinks is weird. She had been homeschooled until she was 15 years old. She joins the public school that he goes to, and she acts the way she wants. She dresses the way she wants. She's just very interesting. And when you put that into the setting of a middle school, obviously there's going to be some bullying and just mean kids and mean girls, but he finds her fascinating. And watching that all unfold and kind of how he dealt with still trying to keep his popularity with his friends, but also wanting to be with her. It was cute. So not my favorite book that I've read recently, but it was alright. I know there's a second one that goes along with it as well. It's not available on audiobook for me, unfortunately, so I have not read it. If you've read it, let me know down below what you thought. I think this one is actually a pretty popular book. I had a lot of people on Instagram tell me that they read it. It kind of reminds me of the genre of maybe Perks of Being a Wallflower, or something like that, where it's more geared towards middle school, but I'm not against young adult novels whatsoever. So yeah. Book number 3 is Before We Were Strangers by Brenda Novak, and I gave this one 4 out of 5. I have been reading some pretty good books lately. Not many of them get a 5-star rating though. So this one's somewhat of a murder mystery mixed with a romance. The main character's name is Sloane. The beginning of the book talks about her when she was just 5 years old. She heard some strange noises the night that her mother disappeared. Her mother's disappearance was actually ruled as her just walking out on her family. Years later, Sloane comes back to the town that she left abruptly when she turned 18, straight out of high school. She comes back to town, she runs into the boy that she loved back then. It was her one true love, serious romance. He is now divorced from Sloane's best friend from high school, so the best friend and her boyfriend had gotten married after she left town. They had a child. They are now divorced. But she comes back to town because she wants to, like, she doesn't think that her mother just up and ran away. She thinks her mother was murdered, and she's there to kind of solve the case. So there's a lot of sexual tension with her and her ex turned current love interest, as well as her playing detective to find out what really happened to her mother that night. And because it makes the story flow better, her love interest is a cop. So of course that comes into play as he helps her kind of go through the motions of searching for the mother or clues to the mother's disappearance. Sloane's father and brother are trying to run her out of town, so she feels like there's something hidden there. So there's just a lot going on, but the book breaks it down. Like, you don't feel lost or confused. Like, the story is told really, really well. Book number 4 is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I gave this one 4 out of 5. So this was one of Goodreads' top books, like, I forget what category, but it was rated like top for 3 different categories or 3 different years. Anyway, that's how I found out about it. I was going through the Goodreads 2018 top like nominees or whatnot, and I saw this book. I did not know that there was a movie. I have not seen the movie. It is on my to-do list. So this book focuses on police brutality against an African-American boy. The main character, so this tells the story of the main character. Her name is Star, and she witnesses her childhood best friend Khalil shot and killed by a police officer during a routine traffic stop. This book was very emotional. It was gut-wrenching. They did a really good job portraying the characters. Star, her family like lives in the wrong side of town, but she goes to like a prep school across town, so her parents are trying to give her like a better life, and then all of this happens and she ends up being the she ends up being a witness to the case, obviously, when it gets brought to court because of her being there when her friend was shot and killed. So it was a very good book. It was beautifully written or read. The voice actor that actually read this book, she has done a few of the books that I've listened to, and so hearing her voice is almost like listening to a friend talk, so I really enjoyed hearing this book. And last but not least, book number 5 that I want to talk to you about is called The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I have only read 2 Kristen Hanna books. No, 3. I've read 3 Kristen Hanna books, or listened to. When I say the word read, I really mean listen. Okay. So this was the 3rd that I have listened to, and I know Kristen Hanna is a hugely popular author. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I did not think I would like this book based on the description alone, but I ended up loving it and was very sad when it was over. You know when you end a book and like the characters, they become like friends to you, or you're just so sad when a book ends? That was this book for me. It was long. I think this book was probably between 15 and 20 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off on that. It was a longer one. This takes place in Alaska in 1974. The father of the main family is a prisoner of war from Vietnam. He comes home. He's very like emotionally unstable, and he makes the decision to move his family to the frontier of Alaska to live off the grid. So they went from Seattle, living in the city with like decent money and like a nice life, and he moves them to the middle of nowhere woods of Alaska. The main character's name is Lenny. She is 13 years old at the time of this, like that's where it starts, and it goes over the course of a few years, but she's 13 when they move. So this focuses on how she navigates like the change from moving from city to the grid. The details that Kristen Hanna puts into this, it made you feel like you were there. It was fascinating to me to watch them learn how to basically homestead, how to survive the winters in Alaska. But Lenny also navigates her first love. There's not many kids in the area that they live in, so she falls in love, but she's also dealing with her father's abusive tendencies. Her parents have a very up and down marriage, more down than up, and the mother is constantly trying to please the father so that he doesn't get like upset, because when he gets upset, things go downhill real fast. So she sees a lot of violence in her life, and her like respite is this boy that she falls in love with, but there's way more to it than that. It's a beautifully written. Absolutely love it. 5 out of 5. Again, I don't give many books a 5, but that is one that I would highly recommend, even if the like synopsis of the book doesn't sound good to you, because it didn't sound good to me. And that is all the books that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, definitely leave me a comment down below letting me know that you would like to hear more of the books that I've been reading or listening to. I would also like for you to recommend some books for me. A lot of the books that I've been reading and listening to lately have actually been recommendations from a lot of you. I've got a list a mile long, but I'm always in the market for more recommendations, so drop those down in the comments as well. If you've read any of these, let me know what your thoughts are on them, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye.